I've been to hell. Every single battlefield was hell.
How are we going today, Minasan? My name is Rakan, and thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. A voice actor by the name of Mr. Tommy Earl Jenkins, an absolute legend in this industry, has just been confirmed to be in Bayonetta 3. I'm about to break down which new characters I believe he will be voicing in Bayonetta 3, as well as tying this with Demon Slave and Demon Masquerade and why they're going to be important for the whole story of Bayonetta 3. And if you are new to this channel, welcome to the Rock Unity. So it starts off with Tommy tweeting. Shout out to Manuel for the tag where Tommy even also liked. Been voicing a bit, and it's going to be a fun year with these titles coming out. Just a few fun projects making their way to you in 2022. Spellforce 3, Bayonetta 3, Saints Row 5, Diablo Immortal, Scooby-Doo, and some others that are low-key for now. Stay tuned, hashtag VA, hashtag video games, hashtag animation. First off, congratulations on the amount of projects coming out, and a lot of you may know him from Death Stranding as Die Hard Man, who he played phenomenally, and he even placed it in his Instagram bio.
You'll also be able to use Chiral printers. Won't be long before we're able to send all kinds of things through the wire.
He has a ton, and I mean a ton of future projects, as well as existing projects that I do not want to go underappreciated. So if you do want to check out his IMDb and his YouTube channel, consider subscribing in the links below. He also actually voiced Ubercorn on that list, which is an adorable show.
Get back to the Academy, Go-Jetters! This glitch just went global!
I just thought it would be a cool reference if he ends up also voicing Diomedes, the infernal unicorn that we saw from Bayonetta 2. But of course, if you do go to his IMDb page, you see him being casted as Phantasmarane, the giant demon spider that we see in the trailer, and he even liked the post that Nemesis T. Warlock replied in. Shoutouts to you. Nemesis theorized a spider-themed demon that Bayo hangs out with throughout the game, or my favorite, a really awesome boss fight, which is a hugely great point. But just in case this segment was changed by someone who is not of the production team of Bayonetta 3, here are my theories. If he is not Phantasmarane, I have some of his voice clips that I've tied together with a few new characters, quote unquote, that I think his vocal range would be awesome in for Bayonetta 3. Starting off with younger Radahn. We still don't have any news if Dave Fennoy will be back as Radahn, but I tied this theory with that leak back in 2018, where it stated that a young Radahn will appear and manage a weapon craft system. I also had a theory that Tommy will be voicing Mephisto, who is Radahn's first name before it was changed for the Bayonetta 1 release. In the second timeline, and this is just a theory, where Brave Cereza was never sealed, the Radahn of that timeline could be voiced by Tommy. His name maybe will be Mephisto, because even if we've seen the Gates of Hell logo on the guns, there is still no engraving of quote-unquote Radahn. Just a thought. Now, basing it off the 2018 leaks, if they are going to showcase in the third installment a young Jebelius, a young Sheba, and a young Radahn, I think they should keep them as flashback chapters, just to avoid any further confusion, and also tells us a bit about their history, about being the strongest beings in the universe. But I immediately thought of a younger, perhaps even prime Radahn when I heard Tommy's storytelling "Twas the Night Before Christmas" on his YouTube channel. Go subscribe to him if you haven't.
Then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose.
In addition to existing returning characters, I believe Tommy would also do a great job in voicing adult Loki, who has grown up, finally calling Bayonetta by her full name. I like to think that adult Loki's return is going to be so shonen, saving Bayonetta at the last second before she is hit. Though even if that is a huge stretch, I still think Tommy's voice would be so fitting, and I think adult Loki's voice would be similar to Die Hard Man's voice, from adolescent delinquent to fully matured adult. The next one ties in with what Nemesis talked about, and what I'm about to add is kind of wishful thinking, the ones that I'm going to add, but if he is going to be a villain in Bayonetta 3, I really imagined his voice to be vampirical. There is no evidence of vampires in the lore of Bayonetta as of now, but I believe he'd be amazing at introducing the Bayoverse's first vampire, especially if it's one of the pinnacle antagonists. I'm looking at you Hellsing fans out there. Crazy gal. But when you look at his trending Q&A stories, he has a very soothing, natural, deep voice. And that stylish suit really helps with the imagination of what the character he'd be voicing in Bayonetta 3 would be.
The writer envisaged it, also the opportunity to bring something else to it in terms of delivering the lines and the emotional range, I suppose, of the character. So that's the best thing, is being able to tell stories. For those people sometimes who don't really have a voice as well.
I would love to see how he would bring a vampire to the big screen in Bayonetta 3, and that suit really helps with the imagination if they were to introduce them as one part of a bigger universe. Just to add on to this, I would also love to see if he'll be voicing another angelic character as one of the Archangels of Paradiso, a step above the First Sphere Angels. Possibly even knowing Radahn before he was even cast out from Paradiso. I'm actually getting so hyped thinking about these. I really cannot wait for this game, oh my god. Thank you so much, Tommy Earl Jenkins, for coming up with this awesome news. I cannot wait to see your performance. Okay, let's bring it back to Earth. This next theory is going to be based off his legendary performance as Die Hard Man from Death Stranding. Now I know this is a complete stretch and completely off the books, but I have my hopes for this character coming in Bayonetta 3. I believe his performance and vocals in Death Stranding could have matched and will be fitting for Eggman the Destroyer to return in Bayonetta 3. Hear me out. The first one introduced in Bayonetta, might I add, could be finally hitting the big screens in the third sequel. Listen to this a few times, trust me, you'll get hyped, especially if you are an Eggman the Destroyer fan theory fan.
Either. Don't know the first thing about dying. I had never tried it. Yeah. I've been to hell. Every single battlefield was hell. But no matter how terrible it got, I never died. Because all I ever did was run from death.
The way he makes his voice raspy yet confident in this scene really pictured how I imagined Eggman the Destroyer. So all the Potassium Butcher theories aside, we know from the prologue of Bayonetta 1 that Eggman is in Hell or in Inferno and has a chance of being casted out of that realm due to being that much of a hated being in the Bayoverse. That really reminds me, just a side note, if Radahn was casted out of Paradiso and Eggman was cast out of Inferno or will be cast out of Inferno, those are quite the awesome parallels for a fight scene between the two. Mr. Tommy wasn't credited in either Bayonetta 1 or Bayonetta 2, so either Phantasmarane is being recast and Tommy is just doing the Monster Cries alone, or something more cool is about to happen, which brings me to this awesome theory that involves Bayonetta or Brave Cereza. It depends on which interpretation that you take. I came to the conclusive theory that if he is going to voice Phantasmarane, will Bayonetta or Brave Cereza be finally able to talk with her demons, or more specifically, be able to understand them in human language. This kinda ties back to our Alice in Wonderland theory. In that video, we found out that Hideki Kamiya has read Alice in Wonderland even before the film, and we theorized that Bayonetta or Cereza is secretly symbolic of Alice. Alice, of course, being able to talk to animals could be something that they could adapt or finally put to the big screen in Bayonetta 3, with whoever this person really is. Or maybe even our Bayonetta. It'd be just like that scene in the rebooted Pokemon movie where Pikachu finally talks to Ash, or like that archetypal cliche scene of animals talking to humans, just like in Frozen 2. So it's basically like, hey, you can talk all this time type of cliche sort of scene. And what I mean by that is Bayonetta or Brave Cereza could have such an intense bond with their demons by now that she can interpret their cries in human speech, which would be a huge shock to players. But more importantly, it would showcase the evolution of Bayonetta's character development and possibly be something that no Umbran Witch that we know of has done. So just to clarify, either Bayonetta has infernally bonded so well with her demons that she can talk to them, or Brave Cereza, being a homage to Alice in Wonderland, has learned to talk with her infernal demons. A huge thank you to Mr. Tommy Earl Jenkins for the amazing news that you've given us, as well as a huge congratulations for the upcoming projects you have. I wish you nothing but the best for this new year. Remember to like the video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss a single episode of our Bayonetta 3 theories, as well as to have your dose of Bayonetta 3 content. Stay safe, Minasan. I'm Rakan, and never get disheartened.